Hey amigos, this is Comedy Sheep's side gig. Today I am talking to Priya Hall, a very good friend of mine, stand-up comedian. Obviously all my friends are stand-up comedians. We chat about Cardiff Council, Blackwood, working for the NHS, and bad gigs. That's all anyone cares about. Enjoy the conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and review if you're not an asshole. The first question is, who the fuck are you? And what do you do?
That's a really good question, and one I'd like the answer to. My name is Priya Hall. Yeah. I am a comedian and a writer.
Excellent. If you had to describe your job, comedian and writer, to a 5-year-old, how would you do that?
This is prepared.
Yeah, you have prepared.
I'd be prepared to be eviscerated. I would have said, I go around the country telling jokes on stage, but then I said this to my little sister. I've got a sister who's like considerably younger than me. Okay. And she asked me to tell her a joke, and I was like, there are more stories about our family members.
Yeah.
So
I think storyteller.
I guess I'm a storyteller. That's what I'd say to a 5-year-old.
That's what you say to a 5-year-old.
My little sister recently, because like for most of the time she's been aware of jobs, she's known as a comedian. Yeah. She's like 17 now, and about a year ago she went to me, Priya, is there money in comedy? And I was like, oh no.
I mean, the short answer is no.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Yeah.
But what a humbling experience.
Ouch. Is that made her understand like all of the birthday presents you got her in the past?
Yeah.
She's done the maths.
Yeah, how it's been very up and down based on whether I had a part-time job at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, she's hit 17. She's like, wait a second. Priya's presents.
Jobs are for money, and what you're doing isn't for money.
Did you explain the whole bucket split situation to her?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine explaining that to a 16-year-old?
Like just shaking a bucket at the end of a comedy. Like, come on, my sister's turning 18. I really need to up my game.
She'd annihilate me. No.
We met doing stand-up comedy.
We did.
I think we met before you'd done your first gig, actually. You came up to me at a gig somewhere. You were watching a lot of shows.
Yeah, I was watching loads of shows. Yeah, I definitely saw you before. I saw you doing stand-up.
Yeah.
I saw you. Before I started doing stand-up.
I think it's important that people watch as much comedy as possible if they're hoping to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if they're limited to sort of one act, they're just going to become...
that specific act.
You know...
Which is why I am... an Ignacio Lopez.
An Ignacio Lopez tribute act.
Yeah,
I've always said this. Priya's not wearing the fake mustache currently, but that's how she started her career. When you did your first gig, and everyone always asks the same kind of questions when you meet them and you tell them you're a comedian, how nerve-wracking was your first gig? Yeah. And tell us a joke. Yeah. Fuck those questions.
No, I hate them.
What was the first joke you wrote? You physically wrote down on paper. What was the first joke?
Physically wrote down on paper.
Or
I think...
computer.
I think it was... I used to have like an extended bit about giant squids, which I didn't do for like the first 2 years of doing stand-up because it was insane.
Yeah, sure.
And then lockdown happened and Zoom gigs happened and I started doing it. On Zoom gigs, so I was like, there are no rules.
Like,
I can do this math. Right? It's time for squid stuff.
Yeah. You got in there just too late for Squid Game, I think, or too early. I can't remember.
Too early, I think.
Oh, really? People weren't ready for the squid.
It wasn't being used for long. I won't lie to you, because people described it as terrifying and unpleasant. So I can't actually remember the specifics of it, but it was a long list of reasons I hate giant squid, accompanied by drawings.
Oh, you had illustrations as well?
Oh, yeah.
I think I remember these, actually. Yeah, okay. That lockdown turned many of us into prop comics.
Yeah.
When you're performing to a screen in your living room, you're like, I can just make jokes about any of this shit. Look at this.
I don't need to say anything. I can just show you this.
I think the thing I missed the most about doing Zoom gigs was I had my set on Post-its around the screen.
Oh, yeah.
So new material was the best ever. It looked so slick because I was just constantly right there by the camera. Yeah. People were like, this guy just remembers everything,
you know? Exactly what's going on.
Do you have a... So where are you from and where do you live now?
I'm from the Valleys. I'm from Blackwood in the Valleys.
Okay.
And I live in Cardiff now.
Would you say Blackwood is quite... I mean, I've been to Blackwood. I've been there many times.
Go on.
Would you say Blackwood is a good environment for creating entertainers?
Yeah, I think so. Who else is an entertainer? I feel like the Manic Street Preachers are from Blackwood.
First thing I think of when I think of
know
Blackwood.
There's a picture of them up in Blackwood Spoons. Does that mean they're from Blackwood?
But that's because they're banned. That's like do not serve,
With a
James
big
Dean Bradfield.
X across their faces. Yeah. I think so. I think it's just bleak enough.
Okay.
Just bleak enough.
I think the best art comes from the shittest places.
Yeah.
Which is why I had to leave Mallorca.
Yeah, because it was too nice.
I was just going to be a happy person.
Yeah, and you couldn't let that happen.
I needed dysfunction in my life.
To move to the valley.
Move to Wales. So did you start doing comedy when you'd moved to Cardiff then?
Yeah, so I moved to Cardiff for uni, and then I stayed around, and then started doing stand-up when I was like 26, so quite a while, yeah.
I think that's the same age I started. It's a good age because you're not too young. I hate student comedians.
Oh my God, and they've had no life experience.
Yeah, I don't hate them.
No,
if any of
just
them
clarify
want to buy tickets to my shows.
No, they're lovely people. They're just...
But the material can be a bit bland. The same way that, like, you know, some people in their 40s and 50s, the material can be a bit, you know...
Go on.
Like, cliche.
Oh, yeah.
I talked about this to someone recently. I said that, you know, as soon as people reach a certain age, like with men, like as soon as they hit their kind of 40s, they all write a routine about having a prostate exam.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I started writing a prostate exam joke when I was 26.
Early doors.
I was like getting
fresh
early.
take on it. Yeah.
I started writing material about having children long before I had kids.
You're a comedic Benjamin Button.
I am working backwards. Yeah, I actually started by being cancelled,
Yeah,
and I've worked my
and
way
then-
back.
yeah.
You're working on a show currently for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
am.
So this interview, I don't know when it's going to go out, but that's what you're currently designing.
It's true.
How many shows have you done at the Fringe?
I've only done one show at the Fringe. I debuted in 2023.
Great.
I mean, I loved it. It's a very stressful place.
Was it the first time you'd been up?
Yeah. Well, no, I'd been up as a punter.
Oh,
and
right.
and I'd done a few 10 spots, I think, a few years before that when I was like brand new.
It's crazy intense, isn't it?
It's mad. It's crazy.
Yeah. I call it, so I went first up when I pretty much just started doing stand-up. 2011, I did a compilation show.
Yeah, oh my God.
But I describe it as like boot camp.
Yeah.
People don't understand just how much pressure it is and how much you're putting into it
Yeah.
every day. What was your routine when you were in Edinburgh last?
Oh my God. So I was staying so far out from Edinburgh. I was staying in Bathgate.
What the
Which
fuck?
is so far
Yeah.
from Edinburgh. I think the logic of it was, A, we wanted to save money.
Okay.
And B, I was like, I know Edinburgh's going to be a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to be able to like go out of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Did I need to go that far out of Edinburgh is the question. So I would wake up and almost immediately have to get on a train because I was obviously waking up late because it's Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And be like, I gotta get to my show. And then I would arrive sweaty. I'd have
Great.
to climb a million stairs
Yeah.
to get to the venue, sweating.
Which venue were you in?
I was in Monkey Barrel.
Which isn't the coolest of venues either.
Boiling hot. Boiling hot. I had to start every show by being like, look, this is going to sound... this is going to sound defeatist. But if you need to leave halfway through because it's too hot and you feel like you're going to die,
You opened
please
with
just
that.
do that. Don't faint. Don't keel over because people were fainting that year. And at one point I did a show in Monkey Barrel. It was one of my previews and my own girlfriend had to stand up and walk out because it was so hot. And I had to be like, ladies and gentlemen, my girlfriend walking out of the
This
show.
is how she leaves me.
Never to be seen again. And I had to start the show by being like, don't faint.
Yeah, public safety
Leave
announcement.
before you get to that stage. Do not die for
Emergency
comedy.
exits.
Crazy.
Here and here. Yeah.
So I'd do my show and then I'd be like, you know, like the relief when you've done it. I'd be like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to have the best day ever. I'm going to like pootle about. And then I would inevitably just hang around doing nothing for the rest of the day. And then I'd leave it too late to get the train.
You
And
wouldn't get an Uber to Bathgate, would you?
sometimes. It was a very expensive
I was
man.
looking to save money, so we stayed in Bathgate. It cost me a fortune.
It was a very
in
expensive month. It was a
Yeah.
very expensive month. But what a fun time. This year we're staying so central.
Oh, yeah?
Like obnoxiously central. I
Right.
don't know why couldn't we just
In the
split
TV
difference?
building. They don't know you're in there, but you've
No.
taken over a room.
You know in Pleasance they have those little like cubbies for people to put all their props, all the clowns. I'm actually just curling up in one of those.
In one of those.
Yeah.
Your shipping container there.
Yeah.
It's a bit different this time. So you debut, you went up. I mean, you were with your partner, Layla.
Yeah.
This time you're going up with Layla. And in addition,
Yeah.
who's the extra member of the crew?
We've got a little baby now.
Okay.
And she's going to be 8 months. No, 7 months.
Wow.
Yeah. A bold decision, I think.
Yeah.
She's also like, and I love her so much. I say this with nothing but love and light. She is a hostile. baby.
What does that mean?
She's got a lot of opinions.
She's got a little Uzi.
She's very opinionated. She's very loud. Our whole plan was like, before we had it, we were like, it's going to be great. We're going to bring her to gigs. It's going to be so sweet. She can like hang out in the back while we do our sets. No, she's so loud that is not a possibility. We've done it a few times when she was like really little.
Yeah.
And she screamed throughout.
Okay.
I've got a video of me doing a gig when she was 2 weeks old and she's in the back. Which, in fairness, don't take a 2-week-old to a gig.
Yeah, 2 weeks old.
No, I'm thinking about it.
What
and she's just screaming fully in the background.
I mean, I've been at a few gigs where there's been a kid crying,
Yeah.
and it throws everyone off, not just the comic, especially not when you're the parent of that child.
And you're like, who's going to deal with that baby? Do you know what I mean? It's me. I'm meant to be dealing with that baby. So we're bringing her up to Fringe, and I do think she's going to be a menace.
Okay.
But I think it'll be nice. It'll be nice to go to kids' gigs.
Have you worked it out so that you and Layla obviously have time where you're doing separate shows?
Yeah.
So one of you can look after.
Yeah, we've got very much a shared calendar, so we can make sure that we can like hand her over and like go and do non-baby related things.
Sure.
And non-show related things while the other one's looking after her. We'll never see each other.
Yeah.
For the duration of Fringe, Layla and I will not cross paths.
Which is classic Fringe, isn't it? You kind of you run into people you haven't seen for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And you'll see them non-stop.
Yeah.
But the people you love and care about, gone.
Literally sharing a room with. Where are they? But yeah, we've got a shared calendar to make it work. It's like a military operation.
Great. I'm looking forward to seeing this in action up at the Fringe.
It's all going to fall apart the second we get there.
You're doing the full month?
No, so I'm going to be up there for the full month because Layla's doing her full show relay. I'm doing 10 days in Monkey Barrel.
Great.
In Cabaret Voltaire.
Yeah, I know it. I didn't know they'd taken over the space.
Yeah,
but
they have.
Amazing venue. What time is your show? We'll put it up on the screen. Don't worry about it.
I think it's 5:45. And if I'm wrong,
then
sue me.
There's going to be... It's just going to be a room full of people at 5 p.m. going, where the fuck is she? She's got no excuse this time. She's not in Bathgate.
I'll be at a kid's gig like...
Cool. Now we'll find that out, the information stuff. What is your show about? Is it autobiographical? What have you been doing?
It is. Everything I do is autobiographical. Same. Because I'm so stuck on my own stuff.
Everyone needs to hear about me.
Exactly. It's about our wedding.
Oh, great.
And like what it's like to have your family in a room with all of your friends. That's mad.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen.
It should happen once, and that's the wedding, and then never spoken of again. But you're writing a show about it.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the name of the show?
It's called Reckless Abandon.
Reckless Abandon. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was going to do a show all about abandonment issues, but then it's a small part of the show now. So the name, does it make sense? Kind of.
I find that the
kind of if you focus on that one little bit of it.
Yeah. If you have to set the title of the show so much earlier than you're writing the show.
Yeah.
I try to keep it quite vague. So this time I've called my show Nada, which means nothing in Spanish.
I love that. That's as vague as you can get.
Because I'm going up with nothing. That's the premise.
Yeah.
But I've cheated a bit. I've written jokes. So.
Oh, that's the opposite of improv.
It is. Yeah. Oh no, I don't want to give what the show is away.
Okay.
It starts off as a regular show.
Right.
And then I force improv on the audience.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is you wrote the start of a show and then
Sabotage.
thought, I can't be bothered.
No, it's pretty high concept. It's pretty wild. I can't. It might be. It's walking a tightrope, much like putting your friends and family in a room together for a wedding. What was the inciting incident at the wedding that made you think this is going to make a show?
Oh, well, my dad showed up an hour late.
To the wedding?
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to ruin this man's life.
Where is he coming from? Bathgate?
No, he does not have that excuse. He does not have that excuse. What else happened? Nothing really happened.
Where's your dad from?
My dad's in Aberdeen.
He's in Aberdeen?
Yeah, he's got no business showing up an hour late.
No, where did you get married?
In Penarth. It's rude.
Was he just stuck on the A470 for that long?
Literally, yeah. Literally. And he had my nan in the car as well, so I was like, on start till she gets here, she'll be absolutely livid.
Yeah.
So we all hung around.
Cool. I mean, your nan's featured a lot in your comedy previously. Yeah. Great
and
stories
she
about your
will.
nan. Amazing. Has any of your family seen you do a solo show?
My cousin does. My cousin like lives in Cardiff and comes to like whips and stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, thinking about it, I don't think any family member has seen me do they've seen me do stand up.
Oh, okay.
I think they've seen me do stand up in like mixed
so
bills,
there's
and
not
they're
like a blanket ban on.
Oh no, it's not. It's not my decision. They've not seen it. That's very much the onus is on them.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any memories of the worst gig you've ever done in Wales? There's loads, isn't it? The problem is there's too many to choose from because we're based here and we kind of grew out of the mud here, comedy-wise.
Yeah, all of the worst gigs happen during that period.
Within a 5-mile radius of your house.
I was talking about this with Layla in the car and she went, I think like all gigs in Wales are lovely. And I had to remind her of so many gigs.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, yeah,
just
actually.
Trauma, just blanked out, of your mind.
I think, like, she came up in London, so she's like, by comparison, gigs in Wales are lovely. And I'm like, doesn't mean they're good, though.
No, London's a conveyor belt of shit, isn't it? It's just, you got to get up, doing 5-minute spots to just other comedians. It's horrible. Yeah.
Oh, awful. My worst gig was in Newport.
All right.
Yeah.
We you can say the venue if you want. We can blank it out if you don't want to name them, whatever.
I'm 100% sure that there isn't a gig running there now.
Oh, go for it then.
It was in a pub called The Handpost.
The Handpost? Where is that?
I don't know.
I used to live in Newport, so I'll figure that out. I'll find out. We'll look it up. Hopefully the whole pub's closed down.
I will mention venues or gigs and people will go, where is that? And I go, I follow my sat nav to the door.
Sure, okay.
To the stage. I have no idea where it is. How would I know? It was in this pub and it was like early on. It was the first gig my mum had ever come to see and the only gig of mine. My mum was like, oh no, that's not true. She came to see me in Blackwood Miners, which was also an awful gig.
Okay.
Because I was on. Just to clarify, that's a nice gig.
It is a nice gig,
but
yeah.
my being from Blackwood and being on stage angered.
I
angered
quite
the
like
audience, I would say.
I quite like that they've turned an old miners' institute into an art centre.
I love it.
It's great, isn't it?
It's so camp.
Repurpose it, make it what it,
Everything there, just by virtue of where it is giving panto. Doesn't matter what you're watching, you're like, this is giving panto.
Why was the Newport gig so bad?
Well, okay, so I show up and there's a bunch of other comics there. And all of the audience are eating full roast dinners because it's a Sunday afternoon.
Oh no!
And
it's the worst comedy food, I think.
It's not comedy food.
No.
I don't think any food is suitable for comedy. I think they should be hungry and drunk.
There should be audible stomach rumbles.
Do you know anything that's soaking up the booze is not good for us?
Okay.
They were all eating cooked dinners, and they were all like sat around eating cooked dinners. It was not like the seats weren't facing a stage. Yeah. There was no stage. And I was like, I must be in the wrong place. And then I went up to the bar, and I was like, is there comedy happening here? And the woman behind the bar was absolutely fuming. And she was like, oh my God, yes. And then...
Angry that there was comedy happening?
Angry that I think the person running the pub or the bar had decided there was comedy running.
Okay.
While Sunday roasts were happening. So none of the audience knew there was going to be comedy. And then there was an MC, but before the MC went on, the manager or the landlord, I don't know what this guy's deal was, went on stage and decided he was going to MC for a bit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And also there wasn't a stage. The stage was just in front of a roaring fire.
Did anyone throw themselves into the fire?
I thought about it so many times. There was the sound system was such that you had to be stood in front of the roaring fire, or otherwise it would be like. So you had to just stand still while like cooking, and sweating. So he did his little bit.
Feedback from the speakers, or be cooked alive.
Yeah,
it's the age-old question.
Or
of comedy.
walk into the fire.
Or walk into the fire. Yeah.
It was like no one was paying attention, and I went up and on stage, and my mum was there with her friend, who is like loud at the best of times, and this was the worst of times. So they both started heckling me, my mum and her friend, and I'm like, they were the only ones paying attention to me. So it's like it's not even like I could be angry at them because no one else was even acknowledging that
they're making an effort. It's just the wrong effort.
Yeah. Like what their idea of what comedy is very different to my idea of what comedy is.
What kind of heckles? Show us your tits, like that kind of stuff. The
you
classics.
can do better than this. You've got a degree.
Oh no!
Stuff like that.
Just incisive. Kind of
personal and rude. And so I'm sweating. No one is paying attention to me in terms of audience except my mum and her friend and her boyfriend at the time. One of my mum's boyfriends.
Is this what broke them up?
Is that no?
He was like,
this is what this solidified that relationship a lot longer than it should have. I feel like it was a trauma bond for them. Awful. I do my 10 minutes. I don't know why I finished the 10 minutes. I should have just done a solid 30 seconds and then bounced. But I'm like, no, I'm a professional. I'm going to do my 10 minutes. There's no pay. It's a bucket split. So It's fine. Like, it's a bucket split. But
They're like, would you like some pigs in blankets? You're like, I'm vegan.
Please,
I can't. Okay.
please,
but
I beg
thank
of you.
though.
Why would you put mash in there? Disgusting. And I do it, and it's like awful. And I get off stage, and I'm like, well, at least it's done. And my mum seen me do stand up, and this is what she thinks I do now with my time. Fine.
Just ruin people's roast dinners.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. They end the gig early because they're like, this is not feasible. So when the next act goes on halfway through, they're like, enough, this isn't happening anymore. And then a bucket goes round. And in fairness to these people, they are putting money in the bucket because they feel sorry for us.
Yeah.
But halfway through the room, someone nicks the bucket.
No.
So nobody gets paid.
You are shitting me.
Nobody gets paid. Had my mum put money in that bucket? Yeah, she had. Did my mum steal the bucket? I'm not saying she did. But would it have been in character for her?
Call Scotland Yard. We're gonna figure this out today. This is the new crime podcast I'm working on.
It was bad. It wasn't the worst gig I've ever done, but it was the most humiliating experience because a family member was there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that it was. Then you said that's the first time she'd seen you.
Yeah, and
the only time.
No, she's come to see me once after that.
The
but
only
again, in
time
Blackwood Miners Institute when I did not have a good gig. And also, her friend came and bought me a bunch of flowers, which was weird. But also, the flowers were in a mayonnaise jar.
What?
Isn't that so weird? It's just everything was off kilter.
Yeah.
It was a
Did
weird
she give it
night
to you
all
before
around.
the show?
After, but she very much had the flowers on the table in front of her.
It didn't do like a walk onto the stage and hand it to you like the end of a play
and then the
or
flowers
something.
wilt because they're so close to the fire. They're like, ugh. It was so weird.
Oh shit.
It was a very odd night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a highlight gig, a best one you've done in Wales?
In Wales. Ooh. Oh, I've done so many lovely gigs in Wales.
Yeah. I'm trying to balance it out because everyone always wants to know the shit stories, right? So I'm trying to find out what was the nice one. When was the first time you did a solo show in Wales that went great? That you were happy with?
I should
Still waiting on
know
it.
the answers. Yeah. It'll happen at some point. I do quite a lot of like work in progresses and solo shows in the Queer Emporium, and that's always that's in Cardiff, and that's like always lovely because it's a lovely queer audience who like wouldn't go see stand up anywhere else because they would get made fun of because they've all got ridiculous hair.
What are all these queers doing in the comedy club? Yeah, that's my Welsh accent.
They've all got hair that is glow in the dark, so they can't go see stand up anywhere else.
Are you sure it's not just a punk venue?
Maybe I've imagined them. And those gigs are always lovely, and I'm always like over the moon to get to gig there.
Yeah.
I think my favourite gig I've ever done in Wales is, I should say, I did like Swansea Arena, which was amazing.
Holy shit.
So cool. I was doing tour support for Catherine Ryan, and it was
amazing. Yeah. When was this? Because it's not. It hasn't been open long, so it's relatively recently.
It just opened.
Okay.
It just opened. When was it? Time means nothing.
Yeah, and we don't know when this podcast is going to go out, so it could be a year ago, it could be 8 years ago.
You know what I mean? I've got a 6-month-old baby, and the last 6 months has been 30 years long.
By the time this goes out, she's turning 18.
Yeah, she is. She's still rude. But actually, my favourite gig I've ever done in Wales was this gig I did in Bridgend, and I can't remember the name of the pub. But I remember showing up and thinking it was going to be a rough gig.
That's the best, when you low expectations.
Yeah. And I really, really thought it was going to be a tricky one. It was so lush. It was so lush. And then we had a lock-in afterwards, and we all sang karaoke. And it was so nice.
That's amazing.
It was so nice. And I was like, I
love
love Wales. I love Wales.
Post gig lock-ins are the best. You know, just you and the other comics and the venue staff and
the
stuff.
audience.
And the audience all stuck around
they all
too.
Stuck around. It was so lush. Yeah. It was so good.
When you did the arena for Catherine Ryan, I'm interested in knowing this because I've done. Have you had tour support when you've kind of gone out and done your shows yourself?
No.
You've just gone out and done it solo.
I got paid tour support. Who's paying them?
That's where I've been going wrong. That's why we have no furniture in my house.
There we are.
Bucket split, please. I gave all my money to the tour support. When you did tour support for Catherine Ryan, because I've done it for a handful of people, it's all a completely different setup.
Yeah.
So how many shows did you do with Catherine?
2.
2 shows?
Cornwall and Swansea.
Cornwall and Swansea.
Yeah.
Very different places, actually.
Yeah.
I think because they're kind of tucked away from places in England, people assume Cornwall and Wales are the same.
Yeah.
Very different.
So different.
When you did each of these, both in both arenas or theatre arena?
One was in a theatre and one was in an arena.
When you did Swansea Arena, what was the kind of setup there? So what time did you arrive? Did you see Catherine right away? Did they kind of shove you in a separate dressing room and stuff? How did it work?
They did. They shoved me in a separate dressing room, and I arrived maybe like an hour before the gig, and then Catherine showed up and seeks out her tour support.
Good.
Because she's lovely.
Yeah.
and had a chat. She had just had her second baby.
Oh wow!
So
All right.
she was going through it a bit, which
Yeah.
I understand now. But she was so lush and so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
then
can't imagine she'd be a piece of shit or anything.
No,
I'm not, that's not. I
never.
wasn't looking for gossip about it. I'm like, so
No.
tell us what
Afraid not.
she doing.
Afraid the
backstage?
gossip is she's lovely.
Yeah. Shock her. That's going to ruin her brand now.
Yeah.
She can't be a Serbic anymore. It's like everyone knows I'm nice.
Rats.
When I've done tour support in the past, so what's been good is I've done it for Russell Kane. I've done it for Jason Manford, John Bishop, and they've always treated it in a completely different way. Did Catherine announce you? Did she go up before? Did you go on call?
She announced me, I think.
Okay. What kind of intro did she give you?
Oh God, you're asking now. Oh God, a very nice one.
Yeah, from backstage.
Yeah.
Okay.
From backstage, because again she had like just had a baby, so she was arriving very much like, I'm gonna get ready, which fair enough.
Also, there's no right or wrong answer, but did Catherine ask you, like, what kind of things did she tell you to do, or did she ask you to do anything specific
I don't think
set-wise?
she had any specifics. It was just like do
your
whatever
thing.
20 you want. I feel like when you're as talented as Catherine Ryan, it doesn't really matter what your tour support does.
Sure.
Because I mean, they're never going to ruin the gig for you.
yeah, no, for sure. I think I've been lucky as well. So each time I've done it, it's the same way. So like John Bishop, I went up to him, I was like, look, man, is there anything you don't want me to touch upon? Because I didn't know what his show was going to be. I hadn't seen it at that point. It was the first time I'd done it for him. I think that was in Swansea, the Grand Theatre. And he was like, nah, man, go out, do what you do.
Have
you
fun.
know, if you know, your job's to go out and do, my job's to follow that and be funny. I was like, great, amazing.
So lush.
As it happens, there was a lot of crossover in the stuff we
really?
were talking about. But he was great because he was just referencing back to it. It's not like we'd written the same jokes.
Is that because you were doing stuff about prostate exams and
Absolutely, and being in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So
That's so specific.
so I went up and just like did a whole set of like, oh, I can do anything I want. Is it John? Okay.
I misunderstood what tour sport is. I thought I was meant to pretend to be you.
I do the setups, you do the
For
punchlines,
20
right?
minutes,
Is that
yeah,
not?
yeah.
No, he was really cool about it, which was nice. And Jason Manford's the same as well. He's like, no, man, you know, you do whatever. Nobody's put any stipulations. I've heard some horror stories from people.
Oh yeah, I've heard some horror
where they've been
stories.
given like a document by like the tour managers, like don't mention this, and this.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I've been so lucky. I've done tour sport for a few people, Kiri and Nish as well, and it's always like just go out and have fun.
Yeah.
But again, I think you get to a certain point where you're like, no one is able to ruin this gig for you.
Yeah.
You've got like 1,000 people who want to see
They
you.
book to see you, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If anything, I mean, if you put any stipulation on the support act, you're making the job even harder than it already is.
Yeah.
Because they're going on stage to a bunch of people like, who the fuck is this guy, you know? That's the story of my life. Who the fuck is this guy? That's the name of my next show.
Fuck is this guy? It's a weird job. Warm up is weird.
Yeah. Have you done warm-up for like television or anything like that?
No,
Radio?
that feels like it would be.
That really is firefighting.
Yeah.
I've done it like such a small amount of times, but the people I've seen do it for like the big productions,
Yeah.
you basically, it's people, it looks easy.
Yeah.
It
It looks like
looks-
chatting.
It's like stand-up. People assume like, I could do that, you know, go up and do
Yeah.
it. But filling that level of time, and keeping everyone engaged and like bubbling just on the
Yeah.
right edge, it's a tough job.
Also, it's a lot of like, we need a second to set this light up or this camera up, so you go out there and just fill an indeterminate amount of time. So you can't tell jokes really because you're like, I don't know how much time I need to.
especially not
be up
long
here for.
ones.
Yeah, no.
Because a friend of mine did, was doing warm-up for a TV show, and they were like, yeah, you got 15 minutes. He was like, okay, cool. So he started the story,
Yeah.
like, you know, a joke that he knew lasted sort of like 7 minutes. That's going to
Yeah.
be like a good, strong bit.
God.
And then, and he's like halfway through the story, and they're like, okay, we're ready to go. And he's like, so he just looks like some rambling idiot who just started a nonsensical, idiotic story. Have you ever had any, because you've done a handful of TV shows as well, have you had any situations, any bad kind of experiences, not like with the show themselves or people, but sort of any nightmare moments where something's kind of flagged up and you're like, oh shit, I'm in trouble?
I don't think so. What, in terms of like filming it or after it comes
Yeah,
out?
like filming it, yeah.
I think they've all been pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror with the makeup that gets done on TV and I think, oh my God. But then I see it on TV and I'm like, okay, TV
Makes
makeup is
sense.
different to like normal human makeup.
Do you find I find it very difficult having my makeup done because it seems like on a lot of productions the makeup artists are obsessed with making me much lighter under the eyes.
Yes,
and I'm trying to be like, no, it's genetic. I'm not tired.
Yeah, that's what I look like. I
am tired, but I have dark eyes. You know,
there are pictures of me at like 2 years old with bags under my eyes and dark circles under my eyes, and I'm like, if you think you're going to be able to fix that today,
yeah, exactly.
No.
And then they just keep plastering it on. I'm like, and then I look really weird. I look like really surprised or something. Like,
but do you get when you see yourself on TV, you're like, oh, that's how they did that?
Sometimes. There's a few times I've switched on and go like, they're used to doing makeup on much lighter people, and they constantly just trying to make you look lighter and lighter and lighter. Whereas
that is it.
Freaks me out.
And then to like balance it, at least with me, they put like loads of blusher on, so I'm like white and then pink, and I'm like, well, that's an interesting look.
They're always obsessed with like making my hair really big as well, and like I like my hair relatively flat, but they're always like trying to poof it up, and I'm like, no, I'm not trying to I think it's like an old TV trick to make men look taller or something. You know, like kind of, I think
they're
somebody
some Cuban heels on you as well. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm 6'1". I'm fine.
Sat down.
Yeah, they're putting like high chair on me. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm a big boy. I don't need this. What other questions I mean to ask you? Do you have any heroes? Doesn't have to be comedy. Anyone who kind of inspires your kind of journey and whatever you're working on?
Oh, any heroes? I think comedy-wise, I'm a comedy fan.
What?
As discussed, I watched a lot of comedy.
There's very few comics who are. That's what's. Yeah, I'm a huge comedy fan. I consume so much comedy. So comedy-wise,
I am. I've realised this over the past few years. Whenever anyone would ask me who my favourite comedian was, it's like a revolving. Yeah, obviously Ignacio Lopez. Obviously. I watch so much John Mulaney. It is sickening.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I realised when I did Fringe last in 2023, I listened to Baby J every day for a month. Isn't that mad? Isn't that mad? I should be arrested.
Is that why you call your child Baby J?
Yes, yeah. Sweet little Baby J. It's one of those things where it's so like in the background. And it has been since like before I started doing comedy. I just watched a lot of John Mulaney. He's like definitely like a comfort watch for me.
Have you ever seen a sitcom?
Clocked it. No, but I've heard about it.
I've seen snippets of it. Yeah, he's talked about it in to great lengths. But I think everyone was chasing that kind of like be on a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like, you do stand up, you be discovered.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. I mean, you have your own show.
Yeah, I do.
Which is called
Being an Amrit.
So, how did that come about? Was it a case of somebody spotted your gig and went, we're going to give you your own show, John Mulaney style? Or
We're going to make you a star.
You're a star, kid.
We're going to make you a star. Not quite. It was, so I was doing stand-up at the time about the relationship between me and my mum.
Yeah.
And two comics we know, Dan Thomas and Sarah Breeze, they were working with a production company at the time, and we wrote treatment for a show based on the relationship between me and my mum, and use lots of like real life stories between me and my mum. And I'm like, it's loosely based on me and my mum. It's so heavily based on me and my mum. It's mad.
It's practically a documentary.
But it's crazy. My mum will listen to it. It's on BBC Radio Wales. My mum will listen to it and be like, it's completely made up. And I'm like, these are actual stories from my life.
You don't remember this, Mama?
She's got no recollection. Whenever she does something crazy, she's like, I don't remember that. That didn't happen.
There's two types. So if you're writing material about someone, there's two types of things that happen. One, people will see themselves in material that's not about them.
Yeah.
And secondly, people will not recognize themselves in the material.
Even though I'm using her likeness very liberally. And she's like, that's not true. That never happened.
So it wasn't like, this is absurd. Who's like that?
Well, it did.
You're like that. Okay. So it started on radio?
Yes. Well, no. So we pitched it for radio, and then we got a telepilot, short telepilot, 10-minute telepilot, which we did in lockdown, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And we did it with Mira Sayal. Mira Sayal came down to the valleys during lockdown. It was like when it had lifted slightly so you could film stuff.
Yeah, it was like between lockdowns.
It was crazy.
But during COVID,
It was like so wild because we weren't allowed to do anything else. She was staying in a hotel in Cardiff and no one else was there. It was like, it was that really, really strange bit.
So the work was also the social aspect of her life as well, because you kind of go out and you're sort of with the crew, and that's the only interaction you get.
The only people you see, So that was like a mad experience. I think about this now and I'm like, that's crazy. that happened in the middle of lockdown. I've not watched it back since like lockdown ended because I'm so like.
It's such a shame that so many like comics are still doing lockdown material.
Oh really?
Yeah, like well, not so many, but like every now and again, somebody on stage will be like, "Yeah, COVID was crazy, right?" And then doing like all the material they wrote at that time, and I'm so frustrated because mine. Like I was really proud of that material, but as soon as lockdown was over, it's like, well,
it's not relevant anymore. Yeah,
I'm not talking about that anymore. You know,
yeah.
done. Whereas I should have done the smart thing and like recorded it as like a comedy album or something, like some comics did. But now it's gone. But some people are like, I'm not giving up. That's the first new material I wrote in 20 years.
Over my dead body.
What are you working on anything other than your Edinburgh show currently?
I'm working on my Edinburgh show. I'm doing like more writery bits as well. I wrote a short play.
Did you?
Yeah.
How short?
As part of 15
6
minutes.
words.
6 words.
Oh, yeah.
6
15 minutes.
6 words would be great. That'd be great. Yeah. For this, I feel like, in terms of my career, I like to keep things so varied so that I never feel 100% confident in what I'm doing. I'm always like, well, I'm new to this. How long can I be new to everything?
But you were like, no, so that I never kind of reach a level where I'm like, I'm comfortable.
I've never got like a stable sense of self. That's what I'm after. I'm always like, I always want to be on the back foot. So yeah, it's like different writery bits that I'm doing, but mainly it's the show because trying to write a show around a baby is that's a lot. It's been a lot. I had at one point 3 separate mentions of penguins in my show.
Did you?
And I made no effort to connect those dots. I didn't want to. I said, no, the show just has 3 separate references to penguins, and I'm not going to do anything about that.
No, not callbacks, nothing. Just here's 3 bits about penguins.
And I wouldn't acknowledge that I've already spoken about penguins. I was like, that's not my business.
Do you talk about how penguin is a Welsh word?
Is it a Welsh? Oh, yeah, penguin. Well, that's going in. 4 mentions of penguins.
Right, how much more penguin material can we get now?
Completely disconnected. The reviews will come in and they'll be like, I think she's not well.
Yeah.
Or it's a penguin.
Or she was recklessly abandoned by a penguin at a young age, and that's where the title comes from.
By her penguin parents.
Pingu. Is there Pingu material?
So much Pingu material.
Great, I'm looking forward to it.
I say so much Pingu material. A little bit of penguin material, and then I completely leave it and move on to more penguin material without connecting at all. I will. By the time we get up to Fringe, I will have figured out how to connect those dots.
Great. I cannot wait for that. And the connection can't just be you do a Pingu voice for the duration of the show.
No. I've been watching so much Pingu.
Have you?
Because I'm like...
Does your daughter love it?
No. She really doesn't. She really doesn't.
Audible critic of it. Watching Pingu again for Mama.
I think... it's so good, and she cannot be bothered with it at all.
Pingu is one of those shows that, because there's no actual real language in it, it's kind of universal and it's fun. Yeah,
but it is crazy. Have you watched it back?
I have, and
why is the dad so angry?
Well, I mean, I thought that's what all dads were like.
But I didn't have one, so
he showed up late to the wedding. You were the angry one.
He was busy. He was away.
Hey, at least Pingu's dad was there on time. Okay. Like most comics, you've worked many jobs before you started doing stand-up, especially because you were 26 when you started.
Yeah.
Same kind of age as me. What jobs were you working on before that?
Well, it's important to note that before I started doing comedy, I was quite mentally ill. So I was bouncing around jobs, I would say.
Okay.
The depression was making me antsy.
Yeah, and change things up a lot.
A lot. So I had a job. Okay, let's run through the jobs I've done in my life. I worked in a cinema.
Did you?
Yeah.
Which one?
An usher in Showcase Cinemas.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was also worked in cinema, yeah.
I feel like a lot of comedians
similar origin
have.
story, I think.
We have, yeah. And then I worked for Stop Smoking Wales. Should I just name the organisation?
You worked for Stop Smoking Wales?
Yeah, so
you just like smacking cigarettes out of people's mouths?
I was ringing people up.
Hey,
your doctor says you need to quit
smoking. Stop it.
And they were like, don't tell me how to live my life. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually so fair. I worked in a restaurant for a bit.
Yeah.
In a curry house. They made us wear almost floor-length wool dresses for serve curry. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Wool dresses to serve curry?
Like pencil skirt, wool pencil. It was crazy.
Okay.
I worked in a magazine for a bit. I stopped smoking Wales.
I'm fascinated by that. You worked. Is it like a charity organization or NHS Wales
it's
kind
an
of
NHS.
connection?
It's like an arm of the NHS.
Okay.
And you basically, if you go to the doctor and you say I want to quit smoking, they'll refer you to this organisation, and then they ring you up and they're like, we can book you into our classes. Do you want to do that? And then most people by that point, because enough time has passed since they've been to the doctor, they're like, no, leave me alone. And then your job is to be like, no, but it'd be really good if you quit smoking.
I always do this when I'm talking about call centers. It's very, very retro. Did you have the headset on?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I feel like I spent so much time in call centers working that I've got like a permanent divot in my head. I worry about it sometimes. I feel it, and I'm like, that can't have been good.
Like a repetitive stress injury kind of thing when you're in the top of your head there.
I worked a job for a little bit where my job was to walk around a council in Wales trying to knocking on people's doors trying to get them to recycle correctly. And I'd be like, stop putting nappies in your bins or in your your glass recycling.
How
and
did you know? Were you going through their bins?
Well, no, it wasn't specific. I was just sort of a scattergun approach.
Call this.
I'd be like, you look like you're doing your recycling wrong. And they'd be like, leave me alone. And I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. I'm at your door. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Me, a child who showed up at your door to tell you how to live your life. Yeah. Be angry. That's allowed.
But it is your future, you know? You're the one who's like, you're leaving the planet
future.
behind for me.
Please don't throw it away. That's what I did. It's through the windows.
That's how it started, through the letterbox.
It's
hey!
our future. Please don't throw it away.
And stop smoking.
Why are you? That's no again. Do you want to watch a film?
On the smoke, I'm fascinated by the stop smoking Wales.
Mm-hmm.
How many people would clock off and go on their fag breaks?
So many people were vaping.
Yeah.
I spoke to she was nearing 90, like a nearly 90-year-old woman.
Let her smoke.
Do you know what I mean? It'll kill her at that point to stop smoking. At a certain point, you just have to allow it. And this is really a tour of every job I've ever done. And then I worked in Cardiff Council call centre. That's when I got the divot.
That's the divot cause, I think. Yeah.
And that was me trying to get people to pay their council tax.
Oh, you're the one.
Yeah.
I was in Vale of Glamorgan though, so
really?
It wasn't you calling up. Yeah.
No. Oh right, okay. I thought you meant you were working the same job.
No,
I was
no.
We have exactly the same origin story.
Yeah. No, the okay, it's a quick aside. I think I can fit it in. We moved out of our last place over a year ago, right? So we've been looking for a house for over a year. We finally into a place, and because it's like getting up to time to go to set up council tax again, right? In this new place that we moved in. So we've moved back to the Vale of Glamorgan.
Yeah.
So I logged into the Vale of Glamorgan system. I was like, I'm going to put the new address in, stuff like that. And he was like, logged in, ding, you owe £3,000. There have been, 6 court appearances you've missed. There have been bailiffs at your door. I was like, we moved out a year ago, and I informed them this digitally.
Well, then you're off scot-free. You let them know.
So I also don't want bailiffs coming to the door when I register for my new address, because
So
I know
fair.
the admin cycle of this can be a disaster. So I phoned them up, and I was on hold for an hour. Finally spoke to somebody. Like, all right, well, we're going to do an investigation. Where are you currently then if you're not at that address? Are you sure you're not at that address? I was like, yeah, I know I'm at that address. You should know I'm not at that address, because the flat I was living in has been bought by the council and you guys are currently doing it up. There's no one in there.
You owe £3,000.
You're removing asbestos from the thing. If I'm in there now, I'm dying. All right, that is what's happening. Explained the whole situation. He's like, oh, well, we need all of this evidence. And I was like, right. So I sent them a dossier of emailed them everything, texts, phone messages, everything to confirm we hadn't been living there, the address I'd been living at. We registered to vote at the address we'd moved to. Everything, properly went to town. I felt like a lawyer and some high-powered case. Rocked up
dossier.
Bam, there you go. Case closed, judge. Yeah, that's how it works, right? You just show up day one with the evidence. They're like, that looks like about enough.
Yeah. That looks about right. I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that. You're fine.
Went through all of this kind of conversation. They were like, right, there's going to be an 8-week investigation. I was like, holy shit. I said, but I don't want bailiffs coming to the door. They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to put a hold on your account. Nothing's going to happen in the meantime. So where are you currently? And we were in this other address before we'd moved back to Vale of Glamorgan. So a week passes. We're waiting. It'll be a good few weeks, they said, until they get back, but the account's on hold. And at my parents' house, which is where I was, my mom's place, bailiffs came. And I went berserk. I phoned up the council again. I said, you told me it was on hold. You told me nothing. All you've done since I spoke to you last is give my information to bailiffs.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
I kept them on the phone. They were like, okay, can we get back to you? I was like, no, we're going to sort this out now. Stayed on the phone for hours. Eventually, they calculated everything. They worked it all out, got the bus in and stuff. They were like, yeah, we actually owe you £50.
Yes,
You overpaid on your
You should have
council
sent bailiffs
tax
to them.
previously. I'm intending to. Yeah,
Good.
that's the plan. Do you know anyone? Did you do that in a past career?
What, a bailiff?
Yeah, you must know
I
some
would've
if you
been-
were getting council
I would
tax
have been
paid.
such a good bailiff.
I think I could picture
I
you
would've been
slash
terrible.
thief.
Yeah. I would have been actually so bad at it. All anyone needed to do was cry on the phone to me, and I'd be like,
What, when you're trying to get the council tax?
and I'd be like, I'm out. This isn't my job.
Yeah.
I should not be dealing with this.
How long did you do that for?
I did that for like a year and a half.
How much money did you recoup?
Oh, I have no idea. None.
£6.50.
I would imagine. I imagine I gave a lot of money away. There's a reason Cardiff Council's not doing too well.
And then from that you went into what?
I worked in the NHS doing admin for the team that deals with infectious diseases.
So when you started doing stand-up, this is pretty much what you were doing?
Yes.
Because
So
I remember
when we met, that's the job I was doing.
because you were fortunately driving me to the gigs that we were both performing on because I wasn't driving at the time. And
Are you driving now?
I've passed my test. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I drove here today. Only ran over 4 people.
Well,
You know?
they probably deserved it.
They were probably bailiffs. It's fine.
Yeah.
Saved some people some aggro today.
We've spent a lot of time in like service stations
Yes.
dissecting gigs.
Yeah, on the way back and kind of like we stopped off and, frustratingly one of the only places. You're vegan, right? Is it vegan or vegetarian?
No, I was veggie at the time, but I eat
sure.
now.
So
I've fully fallen off the wagon. I ate a corned beef pasty from Greg's and now I'm out of control.
A corned beef pasty from Greg's, that's the thing
The
that kind
entire
of...
time I was vegetarian, that was the only thing that I missed.
Okay,
And then I had one bad day. And now I'm back at it.
back at it. Sorry, animals.
Sorry, you guys.
But it was difficult trying to find vegetarian food that late at night.
Yeah.
So McDonald's was the only place,
Yeah.
which is not
the
good.
food was sad.
Yeah, it was sad.
Vegetarian food.
And
from
so were
McDonald's
some of the
was sad.
gigs.
Many of them.
Right, what have I missed? Oh, best. What's the show you've seen in Wales that's kind of inspired you the most? What's the best show you've seen in Wales?
I saw, before Kiri Pritchard McLean did, her show Victim Complex?
Yeah.
I saw her do a work in progress of that in, Dolly Chicken in Cardiff.
Love Anita.
In that room, the Flute and Tankard, run by Anita. And I wasn't doing comedy at the time. I was just a big old fan. And I went to see that and it was amazing. You know when you see a work in progress, we are like, this feels electric. This feels like I'm part of the process.
Yeah.
In a way that's really exciting.
Okay.
As a comedy nerd.
Was it kind of did she have like notes and stuff? Or?
Yeah, she had notes. It wasn't long before she was going out, but she still had notes. Yeah. But she was like writing in front of us on stage. It was so brilliant. I
love those experiences.
Whenever I do a work in progress, I'm like, that's what I'm thinking. That's the energy that I want. I mean, it's always a lot looser. That show was pretty much
my notes.
bulletproof by that point. But that was amazing because it's such a like small intimate venue, and that show is brilliant.
Yeah, Kiri's spectacular.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that's like I think the best show I've ever seen.
That's what you're kind of aiming for.
Sorry to everyone else I've seen in Wales, including Ignacio Lopez, and of course
Well, you couldn't say me. It would be weird on my own podcast. But when Kiri interviews you, if you could say me, that would be great.
Of course,
actually.
naturally.
We've talked a lot about comedy and the very different jobs you've done. What are you most proud of that you've accomplished? What stands up? If you had to say to somebody, what would you like to be remembered for? What have you done so far?
Imagine if I said stop smoking Wales. All of those people I didn't help with smoking. I think. Can I be like super like sincere and earnest?
Absolutely not.
Okay, fair enough.
No, go for it. Hit me with it.
I think whenever I get someone who, because I'm like half Indian and half Welsh.
What?
Yeah. It's time you knew.
Write this down, Joe.
We're
going to get some extra money for this. This is great. We'll hit the algorithm with that. I'll make sure hashtag
really
Indian Welsh.
We'll get into it. When I have someone who is the same, like, when I have someone reach out who's like, or come to my shows who's like, I came to see you because I feel like your life experiences reflect mine. And I think when I was watching stand-up as like a kid, like I started watching stand-up really, really young, didn't have any of that. And I feel like that's really special every time that happens. Yeah. I'm also completely mortified every time it happens. I'm like, don't listen to a word I say. I don't represent anyone.
And stop smoking.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, stop smoking. Wales.
I do.
But it's special.
I think it's super important, and people don't appreciate what it's like to see someone on stage or on radio or on television or anything that kind of you feel like, oh shit, there's other people out there, and they're getting these positions and talking about it out loud.
Yeah, I think you can feel very like the only one, and then you meet. And oftentimes they're called Priya. Because Priya's such like a standard Indian name.
Okay, sure.
So I'm like, another one for the pile. But it's like it's always really like sweet and special when that happens.
It's weird because like when I was a kid, genuinely I used to get crazy excited if there was like a Latino character in comics.
Yeah.
Even if it was so like nothing connected to like, you know, because I grew up in Mallorca with a Welsh mom, and like
that's so specific.
It is very there was none of that in comic books. There's no like dad born and raised in Morocco, you know, moved to Spain, like had a family there, like, you know, all of this sort of stuff.
Imagine if there had been. Imagine if you'd read that comic, you'd be like,
yeah.
What the hell?
The closest I got, and this was a bit mind-blowing, it was in, like, I think it came out in 1993, 1994. I should know this. I'm a, you know, certified nerd, but I pretend to be vague.
Fair.
So people think like, oh, maybe he is cool.
There's a year between it. So 1993, well, he doesn't know, so he's nonchalant.
There was the debut of like a new Green Lantern character in DC Comics. And there was this character who, his name's Kyle Rayner, but he was half... His mom was like Irish American.
Yeah.
His dad, who wasn't in the picture, was Mexican.
Yeah.
And his first appearance in the comic books, he comes out of like a nightclub and he's wearing a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt.
You're like, it's me.
I was like, what the fuck?
The future is now.
yeah. I was like, that for me, I was like, oh my god, you know. It's kind of like, even though it was you know, Mexican and Irish American, right? I kind of felt that. I was like, oh my god, there's kids are allowed to have parents from 2 different countries and stuff, which was fun. When you were growing up, was there anything you did see that made you think like, oh shit, maybe I could give this a try, or maybe there's representation?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's wild, but like growing up, like people like Shaprak Kosandi, like, even though I'm not Iranian, but like that really, like, I remember watching her with my mum, and being like, oh, this is amazing, and a lot of American comedy, because, you know, you see more people of colour in American comedy, just generally speaking.
And they're all from different places.
Me watching Eddie Murphy at 11, being like, it's me. I'm finally being represented. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I also hate the gays.
Oh, thank God. Representation matters, everybody. And then, obviously, like, later on, like, Nish and Ramesh, Ranganathan, like, it all matters. I think it all, like, I wouldn't be on stage were it not for any of those people, because... you don't know you can do it until you see people do it.
There's kind of like, I feel like a little sort of like foreigners connection as well. So like when you're watching stuff like as a kid, or like people who come from different backgrounds and stuff, that isn't just, you know, the standard Benny Hill.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
You go, oh wow, like I'm not, you know, one of those things, and it's allowed, and
and people want to listen to it.
And there's very similar like experiences, like you said, like, you know, it doesn't matter if it's Iranian or sort of, you know, different parts of Asia, or, you know, Africa, or like wherever it is, it's got that sort of outsider connection. And I pick up on it, and it kind of got me into stand-up. I thought it was possible. Whereas,
especially when you're little, if you're like a little dweeb that likes stand-up. I used to watch so much Jasper Carrot. Isn't that weird?
I love Jasper. Do you know I met him recently?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I might have already told this story, but I met Jasper Carrot at a show in Birmingham. Because this is just before he started doing other sets now. He's looking great. Yeah. He's great, but I think he's like 80 something.
Oh, wow.
I'm not 100%. I'll double check that. We might beep out the age if I've overshot for a little bit. Can we look up the age on Jasper Carrot, please? He was at the gig I did in Birmingham. Yeah. And he's 80, yeah. Crazy. He looks much younger than that, by the way. And he's like, so cool and nice. And he came and chatted with the acts and stuff after. But I was like one of the oldest people on the bill. Yeah. And like, you know, I'm late 30s, but I was like one of the oldest people. I remember him from like the Detectives and like his stand-up and stuff. Yeah. All the young people in the room were like, who's Jasper Carrot? And I was like, Jasper Carrot. I was trying to explain. And then one of them, who was a little bit older than the other ones, was like, you know, like golden balls. And I was like, oh my God. But he was amazing. Jasper Carrot, what a cool guy.
Love that.
Silly.
Love that he's still gigging.
He's come back to it. He's doing stand-up again, I think. Yeah. I think it never goes away. Yeah. It doesn't matter, you know, what else you end up doing. You're like, I've been planning on retiring this whole time.
I don't want to be. I want to be on a beach somewhere when I'm 80.
Is there anything you'd like to plug other than the Fringe Show? Or you can, if you want to, you can plug the Fringe Show and then anything else.
Please come to my please come to my Edinburgh Fringe show at probably 5:45, if I am remembering correctly, in Cabaret Voltaire. It's called Reckless Abandon. I am Priya Hall. Goodbye.
And remember, stop smoking.
And remember, stop smoking Wales.
Amazing. I think that kind of covers anything. Is there anything else you wanted to mention or anything I've missed
Don't
out?
think so. Oh,
No.
Being an Amber is on BBC Sounds, I think.
That's the best plug, I think. Check. You can't do all the work. You've got to do something.
Surely that can't be my job to do all of the work.
Yeah,
Google it. But I think it's still up there.
Yeah, the
Pretty
BBC
sure it
have
is.
some kind of promotional team, I assume.
Pretty sure it is.
Side Gig is a presentation of Comedy Sheep, produced by Ignacio Lopez for Comedy Sheep and Josie Fortuna of Pigeon Talk Comedy.